I say the joint was rocking, going round and round, yeah, reeling and rocking.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am safetytess, better known as Tess, and today we're gonna build a gingerbread house. Yeah, I said it. Today is a tutorial for a gingerbread house, but not your average gingerbread house. A rock and roll gingerbread house, but not your average rock and roll gingerbread house. A rock and roll gingerbread house for the Rolling Stones. I was waiting for applause, but it didn't happen. This is a collaboration with Liz Rogers. Over on Liz's channel, she's going to be doing a gingerbread house for a pop punk band that I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go to her channel to figure it out. But we decided to be fun to show you a little tutorial on how to rock and roll up or pop punk up your gingerbread house making experience.
Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Brian Jones, Charlie Watts, Bill Wyman, Ronnie Wood, Mick Taylor, even though he won't show up. I'll even make it for the backing band. Daryl, Bernard, Chuck, Lisa, even though she's on a different tour.
I know, you're like, what's happening, Tess? You know way too many members of the touring band of the Rolling Stones, and you're right!
It's only rock and roll, and I like it, yes I do, and I like it, I like it.
So I've got my workspace right here, and the first thing I'm gonna do is take the gingerbread house out. I actually got the Gingerbread Village because there are 5 members of the original Rolling Stones and there's 5 houses, so I figured they didn't want to all live together because they might hurt each other. So we're gonna take 5 different gingerbread houses and make them into one little village. You want to use something that's washable so that later on, when your gingerbread houses are nasty, you can just wash it off. First things first, let's hop into these houses and try not to break them. If you want to read the instructions, you can do that. But I have a Pinterest soul and I'm ready to put these together. 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is almost like parking. Oh! This is almost like pumpkin carving to the extreme. Oh my gosh. Holy crud. We're pros. Okay, one house down. Now I'm gonna do all the other. Sometimes rock star houses have casualties, you know? So these 2 houses, you know, they're in the remodel stage. They're in the we still party at their house kind of stage. And these guys just spent $1 million on their pool. So life happens. I had to saw a couple of these because they just will not come apart. Maybe I'll do a full review of, you know, the Gingerbread Village kit after this, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. But now we're gonna get to gluing. Your kit comes with this like easy build royal icing. This is literally sugar and water. And not for eating purposes because it tastes awful. And it's because sugar is gonna stick everything together. But if you wanna use this for like a base glue, I always buy like an extra icing so that I can fill in the cracks. It's like my, you know, insulation foam. We're gonna make sure these houses are insulated even though fake paper people are going to be living in them. So let's open this up and we're going to figure out our layout and then we're going to start gluing. Feeling like this is our setup. Kind of like this. Maybe we can have a pool in the middle. Brokey McBrokerson over here. So sad. Wow. Wow. That's like it's like the sugariest thing I've ever had in my life. Side note, make sure you knead the icing so it becomes more gluey. If you have a partner, use them to help you hold this because you will glue one at a time and you will wait till this is dry. I'm just telling you now, these people in the box right here, they use super glue. There ain't no way you're gonna use this amount to make this stick together. It's not about perfection, it's about creativity. Okay? That's even a quote about rock and roll here, and that's why we're here. Santa, I'm super busy right now building a gingerbread Village for the Rolling Stones. Don't know if you're familiar. So after a long and tedious process, we have 5 houses. We're not going to talk about the pool house because the pool house is a work of art in its own, and we're going to work on it later because it's going to be more rock and roll. So your next step is basically to decorate, to go crazy, the fun part. You got to get your sprinkles. I mean, we have Christmas sprinkles. We have all kinds of gumdroppies. We have different colors. We got to use some eyeballs. We got to cut out some faces and even a tongue. Maybe make a swimming pool. Let's get right into this. Rolling Stones Village. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rolling Stones Village. I got a lot of black icing on my hands, but we start over here with Mick Jagger's house. It's a nice square house with some psychedelic flowers on top. I wanted to give him the psychedelic vibe, kind of like he's just got this pink fairy dust because, you know, he's the lead singer. He's got a lot of pink fairy dust to give the audience. Then you're going to take this little candy lane over here. And I chose to include the original Stones and then the current Stones. Basically, I just added Ronnie Wood into this. And so we start with Mick Jagger's house. We take the candy lane down to the hot tub where Ronnie Wood is chilling with a floaty, a guitar, and a keyboard. Then, right behind Ronnie's house is Keith's house, and Keith's house is perfect. And the reason I made Keith's house perfect is because everyone thinks Keith is a wreck and that he's going to die all the time. In 1969, he was on the top list of #1 people most likely to die. And he's still around, and he's 72, and he's kicking it with his nice, neat house that people don't think he would own. Then we're going to walk on right here to Charlie Watts' house. I cut out a big old Charlie Watts. Charlie Watts has the middle house because he is the foundation of the group. He is the drums, but also his house is the messiest because he's the most put together person in the Stones. Charlie Watts is always put together, has everything under control, so I thought, why not make his house a total crazy mess? And that's why he looks like Candyland exploding on top of Charlie Watts' house with a weird sunroof because, you know, stuff happens at Charlie Watts' house. So then you take the other candy cane little lane over to Brian Jones' house. Brian Jones has the nice little triangle house, and I did a little gumball fall on the top because Brian Jones was creative but simplistic, so he's inside of there creating genius work and his little triangle house. Then you walk on behind Brian Jones's house and you have the Stones flag for Stones Village or Rolling Stones Village. Bill Wyman also has a really nice house because it is known that Bill Wyman got the most women out of the Rolling Stones, and he was the bass player and the least likely you would expect to be the woman man of all the men in the Rolling Stones. So I gave him a nice house with a car parked in front, and his door is made out of a bass guitar because he plays bass. He's got a little like pinstripe roof covered in snow. He's a great little cottage if you love a guy who plays bass. And right behind Charlie Watts' house is the fan garden. It has a lot of eyeballs in it representing a bunch of fans looking at Stones Village, and 3 guitar fence, you know, because why not make a fence out of guitars? Make sure to stay tuned for the rest of December because we're going to be having the Christmas Jukebox Selects. We're going to have the new trailer, which is the end of the year wrap up. We're also going to be having a New Year's video and December, which is clips from all of December into one video made into a blossom of beauty. And a surprise video. We're even going to have my New York trip. That's all I have for now. Make sure you guys have such a happy holiday season. And until next time, have a great day, a great night, and a great life. I'll see you very soon. Bye! rock and roll right there. Jazzy's listening to some Paul Simon. The whole time this has been happening, I've been going, I'm the happiest Christmas tree. Ho, 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 hee, hee, hee. I just want to be Ronnie Wood. Hanging out in the jacuzzi. Or Bill Wyman in his cottage.